All right. Resuming after a pause for a bit with Thea and Michelle, our Energy Alchemy chats. We had a bit of a break during 2022. So it's 26th of January, 2023, and we're resuming.
Very good. Very good.
With what's happening. So today's chat is called Box of Books. Box of books. So, you've got a little visitor up there, Thea.
Yeah, that's Minnie. She's up on the bed.
Is she all right? She might fall down. Yeah.
No, she's all right. She'll ask to get down if she needs to get down.
Oh, that's so cute. Yeah. So, Box of Books. So, just as a recap, Thea has written a book. And it's being published. Well, I'll let you tell the story. I'll let you tell the story. Okay. Yes, let's have a little summary of your book.
There's my book.
What's it called?
It's called A Conversation with Thea. And it's, I was tossing up between whether it was actually going to be a book or a study course, but I'm actually decided that it's going to be a study course. It's for the introduction of the universal laws is sort of part of it. And the crux of it is the steps I took to changing my life around, like the positive steps I took. And I'm just sharing with everyone how once you understand the pattern and the flow of what you can do and that you break it down into smaller chunks of different things to do, then you can see it just comes a bit easier.
Yeah.
And it takes away, I think a lot of people, when they look at, self-development, a lot of coaches and teachers try to put this mystery into it and make out
that's the sales pitch.
There's this big secret.
That's the sales pitch. That's the sales pitch. The lure. Yeah. The lure.
Yes. And it's like there's this big mystery that you're going to, that they're going to uncover for you. But what I found is, and it's from me falling into that trap of going through all of that. Yeah. And then just having that self-realization that we have this all within us and we all have the capability of doing it. And it's really just setting out some very simple tasks and steps to work. The biggest thing, and I know you and I talk about this all the time, the biggest thing to make sure that your life is projecting in the direction that you want it to be is consistency. You have to be consistent with these positive changes that you put into your life and the different schedules and things that you put into your life. You have to be consistent with it, because once you start letting that fall back down, that's when the old habits come in. That's when the self-criticism comes back in. All of that starts to layer back on top of itself. And that's what I've got. That's why I've done the tasks to be so simple in the first volume, is that so anyone can do it. It's easy to do. Very, very easy to follow.
So you have got it. You've got the book there in your hand. So you've been, you've gone through the whole process of submitting your book, at getting, I don't know what the process is, getting approved or whatever, but the whole editing, all kit and caboodle, and now you have an actual hard copy of your book in your hands.
Yes, I have my physical book
that you will have on your website to sell, and you'll have in various other places.
Yes, so I'll have all of that up. And now the next part, which is why we entitled this talk today A Box of Books, because I was all very excited, and I think the last couple of chats that we did, it was about setting goals, and what was it? It was we both had a goal. We both had something we wanted to be done, achieved by a certain date, and mine was the 23rd of, was it November?
December. No, it was December.
December 23rd of December is that I would have my book available. It would be done and available for people to purchase, and the 23rd of December is the actual date that the live link went up on Balboa Press, which is the Australian subsidiary of Hay House.
And
What's
so what press?
Balboa. It's Balboa.
Balboa.
Balboa Press.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I achieved that. And I achieved that because I went through all the yes. And then like we were talking, so now what? I've got a box of books.
Now you've got your book.
So I've achieved that, but it doesn't end there, does it?
Well, you didn't write the book not to sell the book.
No, I didn't write the book just to have it sitting in a box of books, you know.
Exactly.
So, yeah. So now comes the next stage of the promotion, the marketing, the getting out there, you know, really, you know, letting people know that there is this book available for them.
Yeah.
And so it's all very exciting.
Yeah. And that's where you can be humble in accepting that's where you take your own advice in your book.
Yes.
You know, you're not beyond the whole process of what is required to get to the next thing. And that's you could do your box of books. No, sorry, you've done it, you've done your book, you've got your box of books. But now you need to, which is so different. Like that's the thing, like when we want things, like for instance, me with wanting to do the yoga teaching. And I've done my thing was by the 23rd of December to have finished my yoga certification, which I haven't. I've still got some assignments to do. I've still got some other classes to do. Still got quite a few other things to do. And you have this vision or this idea, writing the book, becoming a yoga teacher. But there's so many other bits and pieces that come in to the actual end result.
Yeah.
Yes. So just from an interesting, so some of the feelings, just to get your thought process, like be interested just to some of the feelings that have sort of come in now that you've got your box of books.
Yeah. So the actual accomplishment of doing it.
Yeah.
So the realization that I was quite proud of actually done it. Fucking done it.
I know.
You know,
that's
top the champagne.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's massive. But then came an overwhelm of I really need to. What stopped me, what was halting me a lot in putting it out there was that I didn't really want. I knew that people would start to ask questions as to, because people that know me now would be asking questions. Well, you know, your life's pretty good. What was wrong? You know, because in it I'm saying about, you know, changing my life. And so for many years I was ashamed, you know, of the life that I had. And I knew that people would realize that there was a different part of me. So then that's come back in again. Like if I, you know, going out promoting and marketing the book, I have to tell the story of how it came to be. So I've got to work through that again. But I can feel it's a lot lighter now because I've worked through a lot of it in the other years. Yeah. So I'm pretty okay. I'm pretty okay with that. And it's just that I think there's a bit of overwhelm coming because I know that if I'm going to do this correctly, I have to fucking do it. You know, so and it's also now that I've actually physically got this, it's not just scraps of paper that I've, you know, written down on, shoved into a cupboard. I've actually got a finished product. And if I don't go through with this, it's even going to be a bigger, I'll be letting myself down even bigger than before for not publishing it. Like, you know what I mean? I've got to the step of publishing it.
Yeah.
So all of that work, if I don't follow through, you know, what's it all been for?
And it's interesting because, and it's the same, like, so you with your book, me with my yoga, you've got so much support with your book, like the people that are helping you do all of this, like they're giving you guidelines and suggestions and giving you tasks and different things that they're asking you to come back with. So it's funny, isn't it? It's not that you haven't got that support. And like me with my yoga, you know, I've got the teachers supporting me and the whole platform and all the information and everything. Like I have everything there I need to do the thing and you've got everything there to get it out there.
Yeah.
And this is,
Yeah.
you know, as they say, the tough pill to swallow. It always comes back to yourself, doesn't it? Isn't it?
It is.
So, and it's just that
Yeah.
it's just I was listening to something the other day about, and it's, I don't know about how what word you would say the feeling is, like you sort of said maybe a bit of discomfort and embarrassment talking about the past or something before.
Yeah.
Or you know, for someone else it might be like anxiety or and who was, I can't remember who I was listening to, but they were talking about anxiety and related sort of feelings of anxiety. But anxiety is actually, I mean, it's used in lots of different situations when we feel anxious, but it's actually an activating forward moving energy. Because when you think about it, you get anxious about the thing that you got to do, don't you? When we're depressed, we're depressed in the past and it's this sinking feeling. But anxiety has almost like this forward, like I've got to fucking do the thing of fucking, and a bit of fear and anxiety. But it is actually activating forward. It was you know, Rick Rubin, that American music producer. He was being interviewed by a guy. It's Andrew Huberman. He's like this. I don't even know how to explain him. It's like he's a professor. He's a professor, and he's all about human behavior and why we do what we do. He's really a interesting guy. That's right. And Rick Rubin, the music producer, who's been a music producer from Johnny Cash through to bloody Kanye West. Like he's just, and he was talking about anxiety actually being that time, like that opportunity in the anxiety to get to that next step. He said, you know, there's nobody who hasn't got to the next step who's gone, this is a piece of piss, you know.
Actually, that's true, isn't it? You know, because
like they might look like they might like look all cool, like it's all good, but they're not.
Like the end product has all worked out, but the getting there would have been a lot of anxious moments. And but they've, like you said, they've projected through that. They've walked through it. They've carried that with them, and they've probably used the energy from the anxiety to feed into what they need to, you know, the movement of moving into the actions that they need to do.
Your sports
That's
people.
An interesting way of looking at it, guys.
After I listened to that, I was like, because I can dip between being depressed and being anxious. Like I can actually, you know, and they're two distinct feelings. Like they're two distinct feelings. Like depression is really heavy.
It's a very pulling down, whereas as anxiety, you're actually quite alert and you're quite alert and
highly strung.
The vibration's quite high when you're anxious. And you're very aware of what's around you.
You are, aren't you?
When you're anxious.
And that's where I was thinking. When I feel it as like, don't hold it so, don't clasp onto that feeling so much and don't hang on to that feeling, and actually just sort of feel into it as excitement, like being excited and a bit fucking freaked out. But so it was just good. You know, it's funny, it's all just words, isn't it? It's all just.
It is, it is.
And but after hearing how he spoke about it, I was like, oh yeah, that's so good. So I
guess performers, before they go on stage, they're not just they're not just walking on there like that, you know, howdy doody, how are you?
No, exactly. And that's what he was saying. Or somebody like a performer, like because all the people he's worked with are complete creatives who, you know, they're not bloody found on Australian Idol and stuff. No offense to those people, like they are musicians in their own right, but these people, you know, like the Beastie Boys and people like, you know, he's just, this man is just amazing. But they're such original, like he said, when he sees them doing their craft and doing their work, like they're just totally in this zone. And the thing when they reach the genius is when they don't care. They don't
Mm.
care, not because they don't care, but it doesn't matter.
In
It
the
does-
moment, it doesn't. Yeah,
It
they're
doesn't.
so absorbed.
They're
They're
so
absorbed with what it is. There.
in the creative process. They're so absorbed in the creative process. What out there thinks, it doesn't even actually come into their scale, like into their, aura, I suppose. Like
Into the realm. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it's
the same as an artist, isn't it? An artist painting, when you really see someone creating and painting, you can see they're in that zone.
Yeah. And that's
You
when
can-
for instance, someone picks up your book and reads your book, or someone looks at a fucking Van Gogh painting, you get lost in the piece of art because it's so original, and it came from the right inspiration. Like, it came from the right part of inspiration. It wasn't forced. It wasn't done through. So when you think about that, like what you've done with your, and let's just say, it didn't take you 2 months to write this book. Well, actually, I don't know. How long did it take you to actually write the book?
To actually write the book probably took me, it would have been a good year.
Yeah.
Of working things. The idea of it came very quickly.
Yeah.
But just the final, like, sort of working out because I really had to think back about how, when things were going good for me, and when things felt at ease, I had to think back about what is it that I'd done beforehand for that to fall into place.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah.
Yeah, so that actually I understood at the very beginning, when I started to think that I wanted to write the book, I sort of knew the structure of it and the framework of it, but it was just working out, my process of how I go through things. Because, I mean, look, I'm the same as everyone else. Like, that's what I said to you. I'll have to follow my own advice now, because I am same as everyone else. You do fall off the wagon.
You're human.
With this, and to be living constantly in this, the positive vibration, it's hard work.
Well, it's not. You have the whole spectrum of feelings. You and this is the thing. Like, when we live in I was talking this morning at breakfast with some friends and stuff. I'm like, humans, they're the worst. Dealing with other people, like, it's just like, one of our friends, he was on, we're out after we went to Survival Day and stuff, and out having brekkie, and he's on call and he's getting these messages, and I'm like, are you supposed to be like not working now? And he goes, well, I'm on call. And he said, but it's just putting out fires. It's not anything serious. It could wait. And it's just like, there's always something, taking something, like pulling at your space, at your time, at your whatever. And the balance is recognizing that. And like you were saying before about the consistency as well. Yeah. And sometimes it'll be really good and sometimes it'll be shit.
Yep, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes something might take 10 times longer than what we hoped, but we just have to, keep chipping away.
And there's so many factors within, because you're not just dealing with what you want to do at any given time. You're dealing with, your family, your extended family, your employment, your friends. You're dealing with all of that.
Yeah.
Plus, you're also dealing with the vibrational energy of the actual universe and the earth. Yeah. With the seasons, the moon cycle. There's so much that goes on.
Yeah.
For you to map out the direction. Like, there's so many factors, and there's a lot of things that are influencing you that you don't even actually realize.
Yeah.
And it's not until you sit down and realize. I mean, for me, I was finding it, I find it hard to sleep anyway, but I was really struggling. This is a little while ago with sleep. And then I realized it's a full fucking moon. And then once I realized that and acknowledged that is what it was, all I did was I just gave space and energy to the moon, and I felt better for that acknowledgement. So there was obviously something going on with my energies that I that I needed just to sit back down and give thanks, give gratitude to the moon energy.
Yeah.
So then I could move on. Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of factors.
A lot of the time when we're so like screwed up and in that anxious state or the sabotage or the thing preventing, that's when like unplugging, stepping away, having space, that's when you got to do that. Because if you just keep compounding it, hey, with another coffee or another fucking endless something, it just all bloody sinks in,
weighs down,
and you go further away from the thing. So that's one thing this year. I'm having fortnightly massages on myself because I was doing it a little bit, but I every 2 weeks is like physically for me, I'm just like, I had one the other day and I was just like, this has to be a not negotiable for me.
Yes.
Yeah.
It does. There are little things like that, and it's very good to find those things for you.
Yeah.
Is she trying to get down? Oh, she is.
Do you want to get it down?
I'll just get it down.
Yeah. Oh, how funny. That was so funny. Look at her little head there.
Oh, little Bubsy.
Oh my
God.
God.
Say hello, Miss Minnie Mook. Say hello. Oh, yes. I'll just put her in the other chair. Oh, she might want to go outside.
Put her in the other chair. That's hilarious.
You want to go? Oh, no. Yeah, no, I'll put her in. Oh, she might want to go outside, but I'll put her in the other chair.
Yeah.
Oh. There we go, Bubba. Oh, she's decided to walk around the cottage now. She's right.
And I suppose also another thing, when we're doing, this sort of stuff for ourselves, like our own businesses or whatever, like when you're doing your own thing and you're in a position where you more or less have to do all the things. And I suppose this next step of doing things is not necessarily your sweet spot, joyful place to be in like writing the book, helping people with it is your but actually the promotion and whatever marketing plan and all that sort of stuff, which is the next.
Oh, I'm just going to put her up again. Hold on.
Yeah.
Sorry. Keep talking. Which is the next.
Which is the next step to obviously get things moving. Is what.
Yeah, and the thing. Yeah, it is, and the thing for me is because I have to keep reminding myself the reason I wrote the book. The reason I wrote the book is so that it gets out to people, that people can use what I've done to enhance their life and to make their life better. And it's not going to happen if I just fall into it's all too uncomfortable for me.
Yeah.
So it's bigger than me. I'm actually it's about other people, helping other people. So it's bigger than just my feelings and that I'm feeling a bit tired today. I don't really want to do it.
Yeah. And you think also, how many people have written books there?
Millions.
How many people become yoga teachers?
Millions.
So it's just doing it and getting it done and
but I am very, very proud of it. It's so funny though. I was very critical of myself as soon when I opened up the book. I was so excited. I opened up the box. I was so excited, just so excited. And I looked at it and I was like, oh my God, I've finally done it. And then I've turned over to the back and I saw a grammar mistake. And then I opened up a page. I'm like, oh, that's an edit problem. But do you know how many times I read this fucking thing?
Yeah. A zillion.
How many times I read it.
Wow.
And you know what? Too bad.
Oh, it doesn't matter. I've got so many
Too
books
bad.
that I've got, there's
Too bad.
typos in there, and I'm reading it going, was that? But it doesn't matter.
No. You know, at the end of the day, it's done. And there might be, I don't know how many typos like I'm not even looking for that now.
No.
The amount of information that's in there that's so beneficial for people completely outweighs any of the mistakes.
Yeah. So that's cool. So if just say someone does want to buy your book, we'll just have a link here.
Yeah. I'll get you the link and you can put it into the
Or you
description.
just put it on the bottom of this video wherever we post the video and stuff, and we'll put a link on, and you can buy Thea's book.
Yes,
and then throughout the year we'll be doing various things to promote it. And
so I'll be doing different promotions of it. What I'd really like to do is further down the track is because it goes through step by step, so I'd like to actually turn it into an online workshop. And it's like I said, it's very, I mean, you could read this in a weekend. You can read it in a weekend, but you've got to go back and constantly be checking for processes and, you know, and things to do, because you can read it in a weekend, but so at the end of each chapter, I'll just find one for you. There's a to-do list. So as you walk through, you've got to do your steps as you walk through. And there's a couple of points in there that, you know, I'm sure it will take them a bit of time to really work through, because there's one particular one there about being honest with yourself. And that was when it was actually when I did that, is when I went ahead leaps and bounds, is when you're actually honest with yourself, and you're only working with yourself with these. You don't actually have to share them with anyone else. You don't have to share your results of what, you know, of anything. It's all about working with yourself, and it's self-paced working, you know. So
and just like the honesty bit with working with yourself, like we always know, don't we, really, what you can spend all this time trying to work out what limiting beliefs you have and why I'm doing what I'm doing, but if you just, and I'm sure your book goes into all that to help you find out why you stall and things like that, but it's not a big mystery, really.
No.
And you don't necessarily need to be in therapy for 5 years.
No. You know what, actually, I think if you are in therapy for 5 years, there might be something else wrong than just you.
You
know, 5 years of therapy.
But you know, like some people are like in therapy for,
I know some people are constantly in therapy.
But also, and a big thing as well is there's so much stuff out there that's bullshit. That is lies, and it fucks with people's heads, and it makes you not realize, that's where you can get, you know, just be discerning on what you listen to and what you read and all that sort of stuff, and because it can waste so much of your time. And
this is one thing, I mean, we've both fallen victim to that shit. Buying crap, you know, and here I am, you know, selling a book, but
it's not,
but it's hard to explain, isn't it? It's but there is so many, you see a lot of coaches and different people that take on these coaching roles and all this sort of stuff, but it's quite clear once you get into any sort of program that they have not done what they're teaching. Whereas with my book, everything that I've done in there, it's actually what I've done. It's the steps that I took and the processes that I did. And admittedly, yes, I have fallen away here and now, you know, often from it, but I pick it back up and continue back on.
Exactly. It's the framework and stuff, and and that, you're right, that's what and this isn't to sell your book, it's just to talk about the process. And there's just so many.
Yeah.
But the whole reason we wanted to do the video was because the boxer books, and because it's relatable, like, you know, like we were saying before, people invariably are all pretty much the same. Like at their core, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, we've all got our own minds and our own, you know, raised differently and all that sort of stuff. But I suppose after being at the smoking ceremony this morning at Survival Day, which in Australia, it's Australia Day today for anyone listening who's wondering what I'm talking about. But how do we describe Survival Day? It's Australia Day's not
Survival Day.
Yeah,
it's put on by the First Nations people. Survival Day is organised by the First Nations people, and I guess the crux of Survival Day is it's these generations that are now here, you know, coming down from the generations that have survived from the invasion.
Yeah,
because for many years it was called Invasion Day.
Yeah.
And then it got changed to be called Survival Day, and it's really is just right. It's nothing to do about race. It's not about saying that this person was wrong and that person was wrong and this shouldn't. I mean, a lot of things shouldn't have happened, but it's just raising awareness of the reality and the facts of what happened with Australia being colonised.
Totally.
And one of the realities of Australia being colonised is that there were many Indigenous killed, displaced, families were displaced, children were taken away, which is what we refer to as the stolen generation. And it's just bringing awareness to all of that. And that's my perception of Survival Day.
Exactly. So we go here in Adelaide, we go to mourning, MOURNING, mourning in the morning, and it's a smoking ceremony, and it's gradually grown and grown over the years, bigger and bigger and bigger. But and there's always different speakers and stuff there. But just after being at that this morning, like the guy who was emceeing it, I can't remember what his name was, but he was just saying, you know, we all inherently know what is the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Like human beings know, you really do, you know, unless you're some evil fucking psychopath.
I still think they know morally what's right and wrong.
You do, you know.
You do.
And there is, you know, and the whole crux of this morning where we were, and it always is every year, there is no one person. You know, when you go to other places and there's one person there saying what they think and how it should be, and this is my plan and my agenda and blah, blah, blah. It's such an inclusive celebration. Yeah. And all the people speaking, they aren't speaking at you, they're speaking with you. And then they always, you know, come back to country. It's where it all starts and ends.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah. We were talking about something before and it just made me think of
you're saying about the individuals. We're all different individuals.
Yeah, we're all different, but at the end we all just want peace and love.
Yeah
and to be free.
yeah
like really.
No drama.
No. So we might wrap it up there with that theme on that nice note, and just while we are talking about Survival Day and stuff, Thea and I actually are 5th generation Indigenous Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. We will do this on another call one day about our background and how we discovered our lineage.
Yes.
Which was quite interesting, having our mum. It was on our mum's side, and she's passed away, over 20 years now. It's just crazy.
I know.
Just crazy.
It's insane.
Yeah, it's just crazy. So, so we will talk about that in coming calls.
Yeah.
But not today. We're talking about boxer books. And next time we talk about Thea's...
No, I think one of the... Sorry, Shel. One of the things I wanted to get across, I mean, we've titled this Boxer Books, and what I'd like to say is everybody has, it's a
Mm.
metaphor for what everyone has. Everyone has that box of books that's, they've gone so far with a project, they've gone so far with all this work that they've done into getting to the end product. And for me, the end product for me was publishing the book, but now I've realised it doesn't end there. There's further to go on this journey.
And can you
And
imagine?
everybody has that.
Yeah. It's almost like that saying, I've shelved that idea.
Yeah.
You know that saying when people go, oh
It
no,
is.
they just go, oh no,
Yeah.
I've just shelved that idea.
Yeah.
I was just thinking though,
But
and I know I'm sure you've thought of this before though. So when someone buys your book, I mean, I thought this when I used to make soap and skincare products and stuff, and people used to buy them from me. And I used to think about cleaning their body, going down the drain, like being environmentally friendly to the earth. Like, and you know, there was this whole thought process from when I made it to the end result of the person receiving it. And the same with your book. Well, it says my internet connection is unstable. Can you still hear me?
I can still hear you. Yeah.
Okay, cool. When someone buys your book and they read it with their brain and their mind and their thoughts, and then it goes into their body, and then they viscerally, physically do something better to better themselves. Fucking incredible. I know you've thought about this.
I know. I have.
Like,
it's like I helped that person.
Yeah, and just like
and it's just wonderful. And I've got this little thing that I do where I think I've spoken to you about this before, where I go up. It's like a self-meditation, you know, and I go up, you know, and I'm above the world, and I'm visiting my inner child. Yeah. And it's my inner child that has really been the force behind wanting the joy and everything in my life, right? Yeah. So I'll go up, and she's sitting on the edge of where she lives, up in this platform, and she's throwing little, sort of like glitter, and it's sprinkling down over the earth and falling down onto the right people, and they're the people that are going to buy my book. And that little bit of glitter is what brings them to who they are. And that is actually why I got the colours. Like, I wanted it to be quite vibrant and bright with the colours of the book. And so, you know, it's interesting. There's so much that goes on. I mean, people will see that it's just a book, but there's so much that goes into what you create. It's the same as with your soap and skincare. There's so much levels and thought and emotion that goes into creating something, isn't there?
Oh, yeah. And that's so when but then I've stopped my soap and skincare, right? And it's been hard for me to stop it, but it's preventing me from moving forward to do other things, and that's why I've stopped it. But that's what growing is. And even though it was also about letting go of stuff, and even with you, with certain stuff, you've got to let go of certain things. You're attached to certain things in order for this to expand to the next thing. Yeah, definitely. Like, it's just a natural progress. Yes, it might be sad, whatever, letting go of the thing, uncomfortable, but if you don't, like, you have to. I mean, you
can't fit everything in.
You can hang on and just be the same and whatever and never change. But I was thinking about this the other day, like, we physically literally change. Our bodies change, our faces change, you know, like, the nature is constantly renewing itself and changing. It's natural to fucking change.
It is. It's natural to change. It's natural to grow. It's natural to let things, you know, like you take a tree, for example. You know, trees come from the little tiny seed. They grow up every season. They shed their leaves. Those leaves benefited them in, you know, bringing the oxygen in and, you know, keeping them alive and everything. And then they shed that, and they grow some more for the next cycle. And that's what it is with us. with humans, you know. And I think you have to make a conscious effort to sit down and recognize what it is that you can shed.
Yeah.
You know, because there's many things that have given you joy and been productive and beneficial for you, but they no longer serve. So it's really the emotion that you hold on to them for. But if you let that go, then the new can come in. And I mean, like, we all know this.
I know.
And
it's just, it's like you and me, we like to use the nature as the teacher thing, and you think of it like a cyclone, right? Where you live is cyclone country, and where I live is bushfires in South Australia, right? As devastating as they fucking are, and they're complete, you know, they're natural disasters. It's a natural disaster that comes through from, you know, I don't know, climate change, whatever, but they have been forever. Cyclones have been around forever, and bushfires have been around forever. Like they do. Obviously, our human impact probably makes it different to the severity of them now. Possibly, I don't know. I'm no climate expert, but they come through and clear the shit. Like
absolutely.
And you can prepare,
but there's always rebirth, isn't there? There's always rebirth.
The rebirth, like the rebirth after the devastation that that nature is capable of, is amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And our bodies are micro earths, like, you know. We're all just little micro earths walking around, and our whole infrastructure and microclimates within us. You know, and when we have a little hissy fit and an explosion and a spack attack or whatever, and then so what are we going to do about it next time we do that? It's okay, well, we're going to go and get massages twice a month. You know, or we're gonna, you know, whatever. But it's
you're right.
But and the funny, it never stops.
No, never ends.
So the next time, so with like you were saying, you're having a bloody interview with Good Morning America. Like, that's huge.
I know.
You know, because we just this is the next thing we just, you know, Johnny Depp will happen to be on the same, you know, whatever.
Johnny Depp's going to be on
the same, I don't know, interview section on the day or something. I don't know. Well, I don't know how that will work. We live in Australia. He lives in America. Who knows? Whatever.
Never know.
Oh, that's funny. Anyway, but so that's a huge like, you know, experience to get through and stuff as well. So we will touch base again with another call. We don't know. We just come on and do these calls as and when we feel the urge. But these will be on both his they'll be on Thea's YouTube and my YouTube as well. And if you want to buy Thea's book, the link will be below wherever you're watching, and we will talk to you next time. Thanks, Thea.
Fantastic. Bye-bye.